Listen up, listen up, listen. I'm trying to help you guys. I'm trying to show you something that you'll never see from just the regular preacher, from just the regular paid hireling. There's a lot of hirelings out there. There's a lot of preachers out there that just turned their church over to all the women in the church. Let all the women run it. They just sit back and they've abandoned their call from God. You're not going to hear this just from a regular TikTok preacher that wants to get on there and argue about once saved, always saved. Man, you've missed your calling. You're not going to hear this from just the regular preacher that wants to get on TV and raise funds all the time. You're not going to hear this. I'm trying to help you, so just listen up. You're not going to hear this again probably for another 20 years. But I've been preaching to you from Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 1 through 8, taking my text from verse 8, where it talks about God releasing the evening wolves on a rebellious people, his own people. Go back and listen to the rest of this. I put out many messages leading up to this. But God uses the Chaldeans to take his judgment to his own rebellious people. And the Chaldeans were a very wicked, brutal, violent nation. And that's who he used to bring judgment on his people. When you read that verse right there, it talks about the evening wolves, the evening wolves. And that gives us the sense of that it's growing late, that midnight is coming, the night is coming, the day is far spent. Many opportunities have been passed up. You'll never get them back again. You'll never get them back again. See, what a lot of you don't realize is that God will beckon and deal, and he'll be merciful, and sometimes he'll move on. He may not come back for another 5 or 10 years and deal with you about some things. He'll leave you alone. Go read in the Old Testament where the Bible says God left Ephraim alone to his idols. He just left him to his own ways. And so the evening has come, and God has released the evening wolves. And I want to look at this in our day, in the dispensation of grace. Look at all that is behind us. Creation, the flood, the law, the 400 years of silence, the coming of the Messiah, his death, his burial, his resurrection, the 12 apostles, the giving of the canon, the sacred scriptures. All of this is behind us now. And then we have all the warnings of what's to come. And then we look around us today and we can see that we're living in the last hours of the last days. Very possibly. Nobody can dispute the fact that we're coming to the end soon, and soon, and soon. And so the evening wolves, spiritually speaking, and we're going to look at the evening wolves means to us today. We're going to look at that. So we're in the dispensation of grace right before the great tribulation, with all of its vials of wrath that's going to be poured out, and the battle of Armageddon and the Antichrist that's probably already alive on this earth. That's where we're living at right now. A one world beast government that is about to be unleashed upon us. Are you listening? It's already here. It's already knocking at the door. The coming of Christ is upon us, which will vindicate the righteous, but will destroy those who have obeyed not the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're there, we're here, we're right there at it. We're right there at it. We're living in a time when both Jesus and Paul warned us of a spiritual battle. Now we're beyond the physical Chaldeans. We're beyond the physical shedding of blood. We're beyond, we're into the spiritual realm now. We're into the spiritual things that are discerned. We're into a spiritual battle now. And Jesus and Paul both warned us of a higher battle, a warfare higher and deeper than this natural realm, that of proper faith and teaching regarding the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he said, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. So here we are now. All of this is behind us. And he says, now you beware of false prophets that come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. On the inside, they're ravening wolves. Although they wear the sheep's clothing. Jesus said, beware of them. Under a sheep's skin often hides a wolfish mind and spirit, and their true nature will be revealed by their actions. By their fruits you shall know them. In verse 16 he said. So this is Matthew 7, verse 15 and 16. He said, by their fruits you shall know them. So you have to study them. You have to understand where they're coming from. What do they preach? What do they teach? Where do they live? You have to look at that and judge them by their fruits. Jesus said, beware of these false prophets. And he likened them to ravening wolves.